Hey everyone, I'm Lillian.
And I'm Felipe.
We are the Postmodern family.
We are Americans living in the UK, living a traditional life.
We make 3 new videos a week, so we encourage you to subscribe.
Follow us on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook.
Today we're going to chat with you about a question that comes up really often in our comment section, which is...
Why did you come to the UK?
So... do you want to start?
Why don't you start?
Okay. We came to the UK because Felipe wanted to come because he loves England. But the hard part is how, right? Okay, so Felipe loves England, or the UK. Of all the UK, he loves Scotland too, and the other one.
No, but I love England more than Scotland and Wales.
You're gonna upset some people by saying that.
So what? It's nothing I have against them.
Anyway, so how did we get over here? Well, Felipe works for a company that is worldwide, and he was able to put in for a transfer, and that got us to this place that we've been living. We moved straight into this area, didn't do much hopping around, just straight into where Felipe works, and it's been really difficult. No, not really that difficult. But I was just chatting today with someone because they were asking the same question, how did we get here? And they always ask, so do you like it? And my initial reaction is always like, yeah, of course, because that's the polite thing to say. But then she ended up asking me again, do you like it here? And I was like, well, it's just really different here. This is quite a shock. Because, and then I always try to say it's really because we moved from such a big city to a little village, and not so much that there's a cultural difference, but yeah, there is a big cultural difference that I'm still getting used to. I'm still getting used to it. Tell us the process of getting over here, because a lot of people are curious how to come over to a different country and work in a different country.
I think maybe we should talk a little bit more about the why first.
Okay.
Because I think I've seen a few commentators say that they really love America and that the UK has been taken over by cultural Marxists who want to oppress free speech, and that the country's changed so much in the last 50 years, it's not really that free anymore. That soldiers get persecuted for the time in the troubles in Northern Ireland, or the Iraq War, the first one, the Iraq War, the second one. It's like anyone who does anything good, anything brave, preaches in the public space, they're the ones that are getting in trouble, and all the people who break the laws but are of a different ideology, an ideology that's been deemed to have victimhood status, then they don't get touched at all. So it's like the tables have completely turned.
So would you say that that's true?
Whereas
partially true.
So for these people, whereas in America it looks at least like you can still do these things, you can still preach. And we're gonna react to this video that's went viral a few weeks back, where a preacher was preaching
on the streets,
and he got arrested. Yeah. I think there are some commentators who say, they scoff at the idea that there's no free speech or that anyone would get arrested.
Yeah, some people don't know, but this happens.
They don't know that in their own country people get arrested and silenced for just reading the Bible out in public.
There's an entire organization called Christian Concern that is specifically for representing people under Christian persecution, just for doing Christian-like things. Yeah.
And so those people sort of wonder, and they say, how could you come from the land of the free, where you enjoy relatively more freedoms, to England, which has lost its way in many ways.
Okay. But then a lot of people are like, go back home, we hate Americans.
I think that's fine. Those are the commentators.
But I guess what you're trying to say is that people here, you have something to be proud of, and it shouldn't be surprising that an American like Felipe loves your country and wants to see it flourish and grow and wants to see the people in it gain pride again and not feel guilty for supposed sins of their whole for all their forefathers, I guess.
Yeah, so I guess, there are people like me, I suppose, that have a feeling that a lot of the greatness that is the United States, and I'm not trying to be arrogant or anything, but a lot of the things that has made the United States so admired, let's say, are things that are rooted in its English heritage, I think. So
the Magna Carta.
The rule of law is an English thing. The freedoms that were enshrined in the Constitution were British freedoms, in a sense, that they felt were not being respected by Parliament. So, it was an English founding of the country, in a sense. And there are unique American aspects, but by and large, I would say that a lot of what's admirable in America is English in origin. I wanted to see it for myself, because being on the other side, you had the two voices saying, in my head at least, saying, okay, England, it has such greatness to it. America is great because England was great. I want to go there and enjoy and see what that's all about. And then the other voices were saying, well, it's lost its heyday, lost the empire. It's a crazy liberalized country of debauchery and oppression. The press is so biased. The programming on the BBC is so lined up with the progressive future, and it's lost its way. So you had those two voices. I thought I just want to check it out for myself. And so that's the sort of underpinning of why we came here. We had one young child. It was a young family. We had an opportunity to go spend some time somewhere else, see the world a little bit. So that was sort of the idea. As to the how is another question entirely, because the UK, like the rest of the world, in contraposition to the US, has a much more restricted immigration policy. So in order to get a visa, if you will, you have to first have a company that sponsors visas for foreign workers. And then that company has to demonstrate that the role that you're being hired for can't be filled by a British native. So they have to submit, I don't know how it works, but they have to submit evidence that says, so we have this position, we've opened it to locals first or British nationals first. We haven't filled it, and so we need this foreigner to fill it because we can't fill it. So that's an expensive process. To get certified as a company to issue visas is expensive. To get the visa application through is expensive, especially if the employee has family. They have to pay for all those visas. So it's something that I think we've taken for granted a couple times, the fact that, so if I have a wife and I have a child and then we have another child, the company is fronting visa fees every time for all of that. It's not just me, it's the whole family.
That's so anyway,
so you have to have a company and a job opening and the motivation from that company to get you over.
Yeah. And then they also paid for our move here. And then the move itself was like really stressful because we had to clear everything out about where we were living and like store it or something, and if you're going to store things for a long time, it gets really expensive. So we ended up storing a lot of it in my mom's basement, thankfully. And then we were without a house. Like we were living in my mom's house for a couple of months while sorting out, getting rid of our other house or whatever, and then finding one here and waiting for that visa application to finally come through. So it was a little bit of a process.
And then we lived in an ibis for a couple weeks when we got here.
A hotel for just 10 days. It was 10 days. We got here, Felipe had to start working, but our lease didn't start until 10 days later. So I was living off of ramen noodles and KFC and Taco Bell. Was it Taco Bell? No, KFC and McDonald's and Subway. Yeah, but mainly ramen noodles because we were trying to save money. I was shocked to see how expensive things were. Like, it was shocking. So I thought, okay, we'll eat ramen.
Yeah, they can do anything.
Our visa's for 5 years, and it takes us straight to the indefinite leave to remain application, which is great because it means we don't have to reapply for a visa, which gets expensive. And
yeah, and then that's another thing. The company it costs money, so the company would pay for the ILR if we decided to stay.
Wow. And then Felipe wants to become a subject to the Queen. A loyal subject to Her Majesty the Queen. So then we would say at least another year after indefinite leave to remain, right?
So that's the why, the how, and then what else did you want to talk about?
That was it. That's mainly what people ask us. So if you have any more questions, we're happy to answer them.
I guess they would ask, why did you come? How did you come? And then what do you think?
Do you want to stay for a long time?
Yeah.
Do you want to stay for a long time?
I don't know. So I think one natural question would be, is it what you thought it was?
Thank you so much for watching this video. We hope you enjoyed it. Leave a comment below and check out our t-shirts at teespring.com.
Become a patron at patreon.com/postmodernfamily.
Thanks for watching. Bye.